Hi, this is Steve Breitenstein. I just want to give a quick review of some of the stuff that I've been doing with the 1080 here at TC Boost. We've talked about it on the Business of Speed podcast. We've promoted it here at TC Boost and through 1080 itself as far as some of the protocols that we're utilizing. One of the ones that I find the most beneficial is a simple acceleration, varying resistance protocol. It doesn't really change what I was doing previously with many of my athletes. It more provides a lot of feedback as far as the curve of their running style and the actual outputs that they have. The athletes seem to be a little bit more interested in kind of seeing those numbers that come back, whereas when we're just timing by itself, they sometimes get a little confused and frustrated by the times not changing, even though as a coach visually, I'm seeing that they're running better. And so with the 1080, by looking at the curve, I can see exactly what step wasn't the best step, maybe it's a flat foot contact, and that's really what stole that ultimate speed potential. So one of the protocols that I do that I was just describing is starting with really heavy marching. And so the video that I'm sharing with you guys is this athlete is at a 15 kilogram load and they're just doing a regular march action. They're gonna do it for anywhere between 10 and 15 yards. We come back, we reset, and then we're gonna do that same marching action, but we're gonna force a little bit more of an ankle and shin drop to force them to really have to see what kind of angles they can create with some strength to finish in a triple extension position. After we apply maybe 1 to 2 sets of that, depending on how the athlete's looking, then we start getting to our acceleration work. Choosing the right resistance is always difficult because you don't know how your athlete's going to respond to it. As you get more comfortable with the athletes and their running styles, you'll have better indications of what they can handle that day for the load. With this athlete, we're doing a 10 kilogram start, giving a nice 10-yard acceleration, looking at the curve, looking for nice spikes on their peaks that shows me that they're hitting the ground with good force. On the back end of that spike, if it's a really heavy load, we'll usually see some little variance in how their foot's coming off the ground because they're digging through, maybe pulling at the ground a little bit just to try to find any way to push through that heavy load. After we perform that at 10, we move it down to a 5 kilogram. From there, I now get to see how the strike looks with a little less weight. Today, when she was performing the runs, the 5 kilogram was actually messing with the way that she was striking the ground. So we see some anomalies throughout that curve as she's running. Then we go down to a 1 kilogram run, and now we see what we can do. Usually athletes then will get a little bit smoother of an acceleration if they're skilled in running. If they're unskilled, there's going to be maybe a side-to-side imbalance. If it's really noticeable, maybe it's something we need to work on. If it's not really a gait that's messing with their speed, then I kind of let it go and we just kind of see if we can get it to smooth out over time, or it just might be their running style. But after having her run at the 1 kilogram, we came back to 5, and then we kind of went back to 1. And so we were playing with that back and forth. Very rarely when I have my athletes using it, will I just do heavy loads and then just not sprint regularly with it. I always like to have them run with that load. There's something we're trying to improve, then we come back and run that 1 kilogram. This has been one of the protocols I've been playing with since last November. A lot of benefits for my athletes as far as cleaning up the rhythm and just the curves in that 1 kilogram resistance. And then we're also always looking for that max speed, that average speed output. The power is always going to be more dictated by that strength at the beginning of their runs often, especially with heavy resistance. Overall though, the 1080 has been really helpful for us in the facility to get data on that running mechanic side. Oftentimes as coaches, we'll say, man, that looked really good, or their time got a little bit better. But to really understand what's happening step by step by step by step and be able to see daily variations in their speed output has been hugely beneficial as a sprint-based training prep program.